In this video tutorial, I'm going to show you how to set up basic rotoscoping. So first you need to go ahead and get your video. In this example, I'll be using a video from YouTube. I'll then be trimming the video so that I just grab a certain section of it, and I'll be bringing it into Pencil as an image sequence so I can then rotoscope on top of it. So I found a video that I want. I'm going to mute it here. And it's a dance video, some nice close-ups, just some good decent movement of a contemporary ballet. Alright, so once I found the video that I want, I'm going to come up here to the address bar, I'm going to select it, copy the address, I'm going to open up a new tab, and I'm going to go to this website called savefrom.net. I'm going to then go ahead and paste in the address, click on the little arrow button, and it's going to go ahead and show me a preview of the video, some information, and the download link. You'll notice that to the right of the download button is the file format and the quality. Generally you want to download the higher quality version of the video, which should say 720p or higher than that number. I'm going to click on download, and it's going to either download to your downloads folder or to your desktop. So check your downloads folder first. One quick easy way is you can click on this little downward pointing arrow here and choose Show in Finder. That will then open up most likely your downloads folder, and it'll find your video right there. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and drag my video right to the desktop, and there it is there. In this next step, I'm going to take the video that I've downloaded from YouTube, and I'm going to go ahead and trim it. I'm going to find the section that I'm most interested in. So I'm going to open up the video, and by default it should open up in QuickTime Player. If for some reason it doesn't, you can right click on the file, go to Open With, and you can then choose QuickTime Player from the list. Once you're inside QuickTime Player, of course, you want to go ahead and watch the video and get yourself familiar with what section you want. Remember that you're going to be operating at about 30 frames per second, so you want to think about probably about a 10-second clip of what you want to rotoscope. So, okay, so I've got some close-ups here of the feet, and I'm going to go ahead and grab a section here that shows some upper body movement. So once you've found the section that you want to extract, you're going to come up here to the Edit menu, and you're going to choose Trim. You're then going to go ahead and get this gold bar down here with these little handles here, and this is where you want to go ahead and choose the beginning and the ending. And you can be pretty precise with this trimming tool, which is really nice. So I'm going to go ahead and choose a section here. I'll say maybe start right here at the beginning of her spin, and then I'll set the end point here. So again, like I said, I'm going to estimate about 10 seconds. And maybe I'll go ahead and finish it right there. So this gold highlighted section is the one that I'm interested in. I'm going to go ahead and click on the button Trim, and now you'll see that I've got the finished one that just shows the clip that I was interested in. Okay, so there it is there. Now I need to go ahead and save this as its own movie file, so I'm going to come up here to File, Export, and I'm going to choose 720p. The other option that you can do is you can go ahead and just do File Save. So I'm going to go ahead and choose File Save, and I'm going to save it to my desktop. I'm going to get rid of the name Untitled, and I'll go ahead and call this Rotoscope Original Trimmed. And again, you don't have to choose that name. That's just so it makes sense. I'll go ahead and quit out. And here is my, and you can see it made a copy. Here's my original, and here's my edited one. Now I'm going to take this edited one, and what I need to do is I need to convert it into an image sequence. So that's to change it from a video into a series of frames. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a folder. I'm going to right click, choose New Folder, and I'm going to go ahead and call this Ballet Image Sequence. Okay, so now I have a place to put all of those hundreds of images. Okay, so I'm going to take this video here, I'm going to right click on it, I'm going to say Open With, and I'm going to choose MPEG Stream Clip. Now on your computers, you might not be able to open up MPEG Stream Clip because of security issues, so here's how to fix that. You can come down here to the Finder, click on the little Finder icon, go to the Applications folder, find MPEG Stream Clip. Once you find MPEG Stream Clip, you're going to right mouse click, left mouse click on the Open command, and it might ask you, are you sure you want to open this file? And again, that's the security check. You would say open to it, and then it should open up to see what you have here. Okay? If it doesn't work for you, come talk to me. All right, I'm going to take my trimmed, edited clip, and I'm going to drag and drop it right into this window here, and here I can go ahead and see it. I don't need to do anything with these controls down here. All I need to do is convert it to an image sequence. So I do that by going up to File, Export to Other Formats. I'm going to change the format here to Image Sequence. I'm going to go here, click on Options, and I'm going to change the format from PNG to JPEG. I'm going to set the frames per second to 30 because it's 30 frames per second, and I'm going to click on OK. Click on OK again, and now it wants to know what do you want to call this and where do you want to put it. I'm going to navigate to my desktop. I'm going to go to the Ballet Image Sequence right here. Now the name honestly can be anything that you want. It's taking the name from the original file, so I'm going to go ahead and leave it as such. Do not change the dot or the number that you see right here. I'm going to hit Save, and it shows you a little progress bar. Shouldn't take longer than about 20 or 30 seconds. And once you're done, go ahead and look inside your image sequence folder, and you should see the very first frame is 001 and goes all the way up. And you can see here just by clicking on a few of them, there they are, and you can see that I've exported 485 frames. I'm going to go ahead and quit out of MPEG Stream Clip, and now for the final step, I'm going to import it into Pencil. So inside Pencil, I'm going to go ahead and set up down here. I'm going to delete my vector layer, say OK to that. My bitmap layer, I'm going to rename that, and I'm going to go ahead and call this Dance Ref for Dance Reference. So that's my Dance Reference layer, and I'm going to make a new bitmap layer, and I'm going to go ahead and call this Roto. Again, you can call it anything you want. So this is going to be the layer that I actually draw on, and I'm going to go ahead and drag it to the top of the stack. Okay, now before I import, I'm going to click on my Dance Reference layer because this is the layer where all of those 485 frames are going to be imported to, so you have to have it selected. I'm now going to, before I import, I'm going to go ahead and save my project just in case. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. I'll save it to my desktop, and I'll go ahead and call this Rotoscope Dance Ballet, something to describe it. Save. Okay, now to import. File, Import, Image Sequence. Go to my desktop, go to my Image Sequence folder. I'm going to do a single click on frame 1, scroll down to the last frame, and I'm going to hold down the Shift key on the keyboard and click on the very last frame. Now, if for some reason you realize you don't actually want this last frame here and you want something earlier, like let's say you import, you got 400 frames but you really only need 300, then go ahead and make sure you select the 300th frame. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and hit open, and again, depending on how many frames you're importing, the time to import will change. The less frames will, of course, go faster. Okay, so here are all of my frames, and you can see that I can scrub through the video, which is nice. If you have more frames, you might not be able to press play and have Pencil play it back for you in real time. Pencil might be having a little bit of trouble. Okay, next I'm going to go to the Hand tool, and I'm going to right mouse click, and zoom out so that way I can see the outer boundaries of my video. Sometimes if your video is big, it might zoom in like this. So take a moment and just zoom out so that way you can see the outer boundaries of your video. Okay, now I'm ready to roto. I'm going to now select my rotoscope layer, make sure I'm on frame 1, and choose my brush settings. So I've got the paintbrush here, and you can go ahead and choose whether you want to start off with a paintbrush or you want to actually go ahead and use the pen tool. The pen tool is going to give you a finer, more refined, inky brushstroke, and the paintbrush is going to give you a little bit more of a classic painter-like effect. So I'm going to stick with the paintbrush, and for me, I'm going to create a custom animation blue color. It's just going to show up better for my eyes, and I like it. So I'm going to click on it over here and choose Add Color. I'm going to go ahead, and I already have my custom color down here, and Pencil remembers it, so I'm going to choose my animation blue. Say OK, and I'll go ahead and call it Anim Blue. And there we go. Now that it's selected, I can go ahead and start animating and rotoscoping. So I'm not going to make you watch all of this, but basically I'm going ahead and rotoscoping just what I have here. And you'll see that in this video, this might not have been the best video to choose. You can see that the camera right now doesn't see her feet, so and the top of her head, so that could either be a good thing or a bad thing. It might look a little strange, but use your judgment. And the way you want to rotoscope is, you know, how you want this to look. Do you want it to be a wavy line? Do you want to show the clothing? So if I go ahead and I, show her clothing right here, and here and here, how much do you want to show? So once I've got that taken care of, maybe I'll go ahead and show her arm here. Once I've got that, I'm going to go ahead and press F7, and I've now got my new keyframe. When rotoscoping, you'll see that it's showing me my previous frame, so I get to see how much change is happening between frame 1 and frame 2, which is nice. But some advice, you might want to turn off onion skinning. That's over here on the right-hand side, and that way you just have a nice, clean canvas, and you can go ahead and really see what's going on. Now I'm drawing this a little bit fast and a little bit sloppy, so please take your time and go ahead and do this here. So once I have my 2 frames, and again I'm doing a very quick version of this here. Okay, once I have this here, remember that you can go back and forth between frames by doing the left and right arrow keys, so you can see the change between frame 1 and frame 2, so that's really nice. Down here in your layers, remember, I can turn off and hide my dance reference layer, and I just do that by single tapping on the dance reference layer, so it goes from a gray filled in circle to kind of a whitish filled in circle. And now I can truly see what's going on with my rotoscoping. And then I can just bring it back by clicking on it. That's pretty much it. Remember that when you save, it will take a little while because it has to save all of those frames, and it will unfortunately get slower and slower as time goes on as you start filling up your roto layer with more and more frames. But I think it's totally worth it. One thing I overlooked, and I apologize, but you can change this now, is over here on the right-hand side of the timeline. You'll see the frames per second. You need this number to match your video. It's not going to ruin anything if you leave it at 12, except it will not play back. It'll play back at a slower rate. So I'm going to go ahead and change this from 12 to 30, which is what the video was recorded at. So that's it. Enjoy and go out and make some cool stuff. Thank you.